Owen DRT BLD&D Season 5 Episode 5 Ending Explained. Have you ever had that moment in a show where you're so sure you've solved the mystery, you've practically written the headline in your head, only for the ending to pull the rug right out from under you? Yeah, that was me with Only Murders in the Building Season 5, Episode 5. I went in smug, convinced I had the killer pinned down. I even made snacks like it was a celebration party, and then the final scene happened. Suddenly, my popcorn was on the floor, my jaw was wide open, and I realized this show wasn't just teasing me, it was playing me. And here's the kicker, the ending didn't just shock us for fun. It planted seeds of a much darker, more twisted truth. Truth that the show doesn't want casual viewers to notice. Truth that connects not just this season, but the very foundation of the Arconia's history itself. So let me ask you this, did episode 5 really reveal the killer, or did it just hand us another beautifully wrapped lie? That's the loop we're trapped in. And tonight we're breaking it open. But before we go too deep, tell me honestly, are you frustrated with how this season keeps dangling answers without really delivering them? Because I am. I've been obsessed with this show since Season 1, but Season 5 is pulling a dangerous trick, giving us endings that look like conclusions but are actually carefully disguised stalls. And if they don't fix this problem, they risk making fans feel strung along instead of rewarded. That's the pain point here. Only Murders isn't just a cozy whodunit anymore, it's become a psychological tug of war with its audience. The final minutes of this episode prove it. You think you're standing on solid ground, and then it's quicksand. Every single time. And here's where I give you the one reminder I'll ever give. If you're the kind of person who needs to know the truth before the show spoon feeds it 6 episodes later, you need to hit subscribe right now. Because we're not just recapping, we're digging into the secrets and forbidden knowledge the show doesn't put on the surface. Alright, let's rewind that ending and rip it apart piece by piece. The final sequence of episode 5 seems simple at first, a dramatic confrontation, a slip of the tongue, a suspicious object left in the wrong place, and suddenly all the arrows point at a insert character name. If you watched casually, you probably walked away thinking, okay, that's the reveal, mystery solved. But this is Only Murders. We should know better by now. Here's what really happened. First, notice the way the camera lingers on the background, not the foreground. That's not sloppy directing, it's intentional misdirection. While the accused character is having their meltdown center stage, the set design is quietly screaming a different story. A door that shouldn't be open, a photo frame turned the wrong way, a line of dialogue that sounds like a confession, until you realize it's been cut mid-sentence. This isn't a reveal, it's bait. And the writers want us to swallow it whole, but we're not falling for it. Not here. Because buried in that ending is a crack in the timeline that most viewers missed. Go back and check the timestamps of where certain characters are supposed to be. The accused couldn't have physically been in the right place to commit the crime. Their alibi isn't airtight, but it's just strong enough that framing them makes the perfect distraction. And who benefits most from that distraction? The person who wasn't even shown in the final sequence. That's the forbidden knowledge of this episode. The guilty hand hides in silence, not noise. Now, here's where it gets deliciously dark. If you caught the reference in the last 2 lines of dialogue, you'll know the writers are pointing us to the past. A single phrase connects this episode's crime to the very first murder in Season 1. It's not nostalgia, it's a blueprint. Which means this season's killer might not be working alone. They might be part of a larger cover-up that's been running under our noses since the beginning. Think about it, every time the trio thinks they've solved the puzzle, someone conveniently slips up, leaving just enough evidence to keep the investigation alive. It's too neat, too theatrical, almost as if the murders themselves are being staged for an audience. And that raises the most chilling question yet. Who is the audience? Is it us, the viewers? Or is there someone inside the Arconia pulling the strings, treating the building like a stage, and the Tenix like characters in their own private show? Episode 5's ending isn't just about finding a killer. It's about realizing we're trapped in a performance that's been running for 5 seasons. And unless we start looking behind the curtain, we're never going to see the truth. So, let's talk about that final scene again. But this time, let's dig into what it really means. We ended episode 5 with one character looking guilty enough to put in handcuffs tomorrow. But the true danger here isn't that they're innocent. It's that they're too obvious. Only Murders has never been about serving us the solution on a silver platter. It's about dangling one clue while hiding 10 others in the shadows. And the real clue in this ending isn't the meltdown, or the suspicious object, or even the staged confession. It's what we didn't see. Here's the secret nobody's talking about. There's an entire thread of the Arconia's history tied to a locked room we glimpsed 2 episodes ago. That room has been consistently avoided by the camera, as if the show wants us to think it's just part of the background. But why mention a space you never use? Unless it holds the key to the entire puzzle. Forbidden knowledge moment. If you trace back through every season, major reveals have always been foreshadowed by something we're told to ignore. A throwaway line in Season 2, a joke in Season 3, a hallway shot in Season 4. Episode 5 continues that pattern. They want us looking at the obvious suspect, while the locked room quietly laughs at us in the background. Now let's stir things up a little. Audience poll time. Do you think the killer is someone completely new this season? Or do you believe it's a returning character hiding under a fresh disguise? Drop your take in the comments, because I've seen both camps battling online and honestly, both sides have some scary good evidence. Personally, I'm torn. Part of me thinks it's way too easy to pin the crime on the shiny new face they introduced this year. But another part of me, I can't ignore how the older characters keep slipping into conversations that don't quite line up with their alibis. Like, how many times can someone forget where they were during a crucial window before it stops being forgetfulness and starts being a cover story? Here's a hypothetical for you. What if the killer isn't acting alone? What if the Arconia itself is hiding not one, but two people working in tandem? One to stage the murder, and another to guide the investigation. It's like a twisted magic trick, misdirection on top of misdirection. And if that's true, then episode 5's ending isn't just a red herring. It's a carefully choreographed performance meant to keep us chasing the wrong rabbit down the wrong hole. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Sophia, aren't you overthinking this? Maybe. But hey, this is Breakdown Epic. Overthinking is basically my cardio. Here's another forbidden layer, the expression. Did you catch that split second look one character gave before the screen cut to black? That wasn't fear. That wasn't guilt. That was relief. Relief that someone else was taking the fall. And relief is the one emotion a guilty person can't fake. Which means we've been staring at the real culprit all along. We just didn't realize they were smiling at us. Callbacks to past videos. You remember when I said in season 4 that the Arconia feels less like an apartment building and more like a living organism, feeding off secrets? This episode proves it. The building isn't just a setting, it's a stage, and every tenant is playing a role, whether they know it or not. So now let me put this to you directly. If you were living in the Arconia right now, surrounded by secrets, betrayals, and stage performances, who would you trust to watch your back? And don't cheat by saying no one. I want names. Drop them in the comments. Because here's the hard truth. This ending shows us that trust is the real killer in only murders. The moment you believe someone's story without double checking the details, you're done for. That's why the trio survives. They're paranoid enough to never take anything at face value. And that's exactly how we have to watch this show. Paranoid, suspicious, always asking, what am I not seeing? So where does this leave us heading into episode 6? Teetering on the edge of revelation and deception, the show has set the trap. Most fans will fall into it, but if you've been paying attention, you know the truth is slipping through the cracks. Closing thoughts. If you actually believe episode 5 gave us the killer, I've got a timeshare in the Arconia to sell you. It comes with free murder accusations and weekly podcast recordings. But if you're here because you see through the smoke and mirrors, then you're exactly the kind of detective I want in this community. So here's what you need to do. Leave your theories in the comments. Roast me if you think I'm wrong. And hit that like button harder than Charles hits a bad note in his patter song. And if you're still not subscribed, well, let's just say the killer might already be in your notifications. This is Sophia and you've been watching Breakdown Epic. Stay suspicious. Stay loud. And never trust a building with better comedic timing than you.